Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by TJS Ceramic Studio, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire arts and entertainment conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Great to have you along for the listen to episode number 246. Only 4 weeks to go until another milestone. Today, we chat with Erin Shrap and Rhead, 2 stage veterans, about the new theater company called Theater Lab. Their show Other Desert Cities opens tonight and runs Friday and Saturday night as well. Then later, I'll be talking about the Vaudies and the Falling for the Vaudies Variety Show that is tonight only. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show. Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party. Whatever you're drinking and whatever you're drinking it out of might very well be determined by where and when you're listening. My choice, as usual, a Jasper Newton, Jack Daniels Diet Coke with a lime. For you, be it a cup of coffee, a spot of tea, glass of milk, a bottle of water, mug of beer, a cocktail, glass of wine, or a flute of champagne, lift it high and toast to believe. The word believe. Powerful. But sadly, we don't use it enough to tell others we believe in them. Most of us have probably heard the words of confidence that have been pretty popular for a while. You've got this, right? Yeah. Refreshing to hear a college student tell another college student last week, I believe in you. Instead of saying, you've got this. I believe in you. Now, believe has been my love's word for a long time. And I love how the show Ted Lasso incorporated it as a major theme. I love believing in others. For instance, when a new business starts up, there's many that become cynical and immediately go negative and say things like, oh, that probably won't last more than a year. I want to be positive. There are numerous people I believe in. I also have a list of people I believe in me. It changes from time to time, but mostly due to finding more that believe in me, and rarely because I have the feeling they aren't a believer anymore. So to those of you that believe in others, bless you. Cheers to believe. Speaking of cheers, which just happens to rhyme with beers, say cheers with a beer or your favorite cocktail at Chasers, West 12th Street and Ellis Road. Make sure you grab some food while you're at it and join us Monday nights at 7 for Dave Holly Hour Trivia at Chasers. The theme this coming Monday, September 16th, will be Down on the Farm in honor of National Farm Animal Appreciation Week. Honorable mention. What over the past week made Dave laugh, guffaw, chuckle, chortle, giggle, simply smile, or maybe even shed a tear of joy? The Premiers finals. Yes, the Premier Playhouse. This is year 3 of the educational process of making plays come true as productions for some of our local playwrights. They submit, and then they get chosen, whittled down, and last weekend there were 4 that were presented, and a lot of young people writing plays, and they write good ones. It'll be interesting to see which 2 will end up being the ones that get presented in February as full productions. Later, I'm going to be talking about a variety show taking place tonight. In just a few minutes, though, actors Erin Shrap and Rose Rhead talk about tonight's opening of Theater Lab's production of Other Desert Cities on the Dave Holly Hour.
Are you an artist? Need some funding to further your art? There's a great opportunity for you through a Sioux Falls Arts Council program. The Artist Microgrant program gives away several microgrants to local artists, no matter what art discipline you're in. Unlike more traditional grants, a microgrant is very easy to apply for. Go to artssiouxfalls.org. If you haven't done so yet, create a listing on the Artist Directory, which is beneficial in its own way. Then go to the Artist Microgrants page and apply online. The process is simple. Find out more about the Sioux Falls Arts Council as well online at artssiouxfalls.org.
Tell you who I believe in. Jason and Tiffany Fitzer with Serendipity Studio downtown. Last Friday night, they had a great turnout to see 11 different artists. The second floor of the Shriver Building was bustling. To learn more about their art, as well as other events they have, go to their website, serendipitystudioSD.com. Serendipity Studio in the historic Shriver Square Building, downtown Sioux Falls.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls, conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics, inside Oscar's Mini Storage. Bisque, studio time, painting parties, and finished items are available. Visit TJS Ceramic Studio in Sioux Falls today.
Follow the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back, everybody. Yes, you know I like to start off the conversation by always saying it's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. And quite often I'll say it's always a pleasure to have a returning guest. And then if it's not a returning guest, then guess what I'm saying? Oh, you are so smart. It's always a pleasure to have a new guest. Well, today we have one of each. Erin Shrap, welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
And Rose Rhead, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Great to have you for the first time here. And it's going to be fun because, wow. You know, I sat there and every time I see Rose Rhead in a play, I go, got to get her on the show because she's the Energizer Bunny of actresses in the Sioux Empire.
Accurate.
Yes. And so we're going to find out here. I actually know this a little bit now, is that both of you have been in this is your 34th production.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And I'm not happy about it.
Okay, why not?
Well, here's the story.
All right. We love stories here.
The story is that Nancy Tapkin had reached out to me a year or two ago and said, hey, I have this script that I'm thinking about doing the show sometime. And I want you to read it because there's a role I think you'd be good for. And so I was like, okay, whatever. So we did that. Well, fast forward to now, Nancy has her new theater, the Theater Lab.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the first show of the new theater here in the Sioux Falls. And she's like, hey, I want you to do this show, and she's like trying to figure out who's going to direct it and whatever else. And she really wanted to get Jesse Jensen, but he's a busy man, as he's directing at the Orpheum downtown. So the whole story is that she was looking for an actress to play her sister. And she's like, do you know any actresses? And I'm like, no, I do not know Rose Rhead. I'm like, she's the last person that we want. The truth is I gave Nancy Rose's name because I have acted with Rose many times, and she's always solid on stage. She has a wide range of characters, and I thought she'd be perfect for the role. And so she reached out to Rose, and Rose got the part. And the reason I'm not happy about it is because had I not given Rose's name, I would have once again went ahead in the counts by one show. So Rose she's caught
So
me.
this has
She's
become a competition then.
Well, I mean,
friendly.
Yeah, friendly.
Friendly
Lovely
competition.
Yes.
All right. So how many times have you acted together?
I was going to look that up, and I forgot. I think we're up to like six or seven
Okay.
shows. that
Enough,
we've
yeah.
done
So
together.
you got a feel for each other, and if
yeah.
not, then you're typically at the other person's shows and
Oh, yeah,
seeing
for
what
sure.
what
For
they're
sure,
doing,
yes.
and how their craft is coming along.
Yeah.
So Rose, let's start with you then, because I've heard Erin talk before, and of course, the theater is not only just a love; he found his love at the theater, and so it's always great to hear about his wife Emily and what they've got going on. But what started your theatrical career?
I did theater in high school,
Mhm.
and then was off for many years. And I went to a production, and I'm like, I never thought about this. I could do this in adulthood.
Yeah.
So I went out to Corson and auditioned for a show in 2008.
Okay.
And my son actually came with me, and he even got a part in the play. So my first play was with him, The Man Who Came to Dinner.
Okay.
And then it's like an addiction,
Yeah.
and you just keep doing it.
Yeah. You just become the Energizer Bunny then.
Yeah. Yeah.
So out of those 34, what's been the most enjoyable part? What's been the greatest role that you've had that you really, if it were to come around again, you'd jump on it right away?
I would have to say Beer for Breakfast.
Which I was in with her.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, I recall that
Yeah.
one.
Yep.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun to watch. So, Erin, tell us a little bit. You mentioned already that it's Nancy Tapkin, and the reason we've got you on is because tonight is the opening night, because this is Thursday, and tonight is the opening night of Other Desert Cities. What is this play about?
This play is, I have to, it's about a family. It's a family drama. The characters are a husband and wife, their 2 children, and then the wife's sister, the aunt. It takes place in 2004, California. And it's, without giving anything away, the daughter is a writer, and she hasn't been home for 6 years. She writes a book, and it ends up being a memoir about the family, and the family's not necessarily excited about the memoir going to be written. They're a little bit nervous about what's in it. They've had some personal tragedy, and they just don't want to bring everything back up. I think that's the closest that I could do without giving anything away. So,
And your character is?
I play the father.
You play the
Yeah,
father,
I play
okay.
the father.
And tell us a little bit about him then.
Lyman Wyeth is a former actor, Hollywood actor, who went into politics during the Reagan era, roughly.
Gosh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't know how the correlation, how the writer came up with it, but so former actor, he's kind of he's the nice guy, he's the peacekeeper, I say he's the nice guy. He's the nice guy, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Is he a strong, nice guy, though? Or is he,
let's
just smooth things over
he's
type?
strong. I would say, in their own way, every character in this play is strong.
Mm-hmm.
There are no weak characters, which is kind of cool, because then it's a family thing,
Right.
whatever. They all have their own strengths. So it's kind of a neat balance.
Yeah. Is there dialogue that goes between all of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not just like you see the husband and the wife, and you see the kids. or
son,
dad, but
there is time
everything
that we're all
gets
on stage together. Yes,
okay, and it all gets mixed
family.
in.
It takes place over the holidays.
Yeah,
so
right.
we're home for Christmas Eve.
Okay,
It takes place on Christmas Eve, 2004, I think. So yeah.
All right, Rose, your character then.
Well, I am Silda Wyeth, and Polly, his wife, is my sister,
Mm-hmm.
and we are complete opposites in many different ways. They have become my caretaker because I have struggled with addiction.
Okay.
And so I am now sober, and they take care of me because they don't want me to fall off the wagon. But I have some grievances with them too, on
some angst toward them.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there's
And opposite sides politically.
very opposite.
Okay.
Very opposite. And so we jab each other a
Mm-hmm.
lot, but very lovingly.
What's it like to get into a character like that then?
It's kind of fun. Jesse's a great director, gives you a lot of tips on how to do it. You just you really start playing off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the key thing is once you get rolling, things just develop because you just kind of almost start feeling like that person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with a small cast of only 5, then as you just said, you do get to have all of you on stage at some points.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of interaction that way. And to Rose's point then about you just feed off each other, that's a lot going on.
Yeah.
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 And what's been surprising to you, Erin, as the veteran of now 34 shows, what do you think is different about this cast that's going to make it a special play?
The first off, they're all there is no amateur actors.
Yeah,
they're all heavy hitters.
Yeah,
I mean,
no weak
I'm
link
doing
in
my
this.
best just to stay on stage with them. Honestly, the script is very well written. At our first read through, we got done and we were like, wow. Now this process was a little bit different because in order to get Jesse, who already had other commitments and stuff, and part of his commitments were his children who are graduating and going to college and whatnot. He was going to be seeing a lot of stuff. We shortened the process by showing up to the first rehearsal off book.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, that was a little bit different of a process, and
That
one that I
puts
don't
a lot of weight on you.
No
to make sure you know
kidding.
your lines
Yeah.
before that first day.
One I'm not really excited to duplicate. You miss out a little bit on the journey to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And then also when you're learning your lines by yourself, it's harder. I mean,
Right.
It's harder. You don't have the repetition, and especially in a show that's a drama and not a comedy, it's not always fun to dive into the lines that you're saying. So that was a challenge. But once we showed up and we're ahead of the game, so to speak. So like I said, that first read through, it was like, wow, this is going to be really good. What surprises me, because you asked me what I got surprised is, I mean, how little I feel like I know. I mean, Jesse, this is the second time I've worked with Jesse. He directed me in Lombardi.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I got to act with him or work with him. This one, he continues to teach me new stuff. I mean, he's teaching me new stuff. I'm learning constantly. He'll have the directorial styles that I'm like, I don't understand what this is doing. Now, this isn't going to work at all. And then we do it, and he's like, that's it.
Yeah.
And then we feed off of that, and we go. And like I said, with his direction and then our feeding off of our characters, it falls into place, and it's pretty special. This is going to be a special show, I think.
Rose, how did you go about learning lines before getting there?
a lot of repetition and reading and yeah.
Anybody read along with you?
No, I don't usually do that. I
Oh,
usually
really?
do it by myself.
Yeah, so you don't have anybody there so that you're picking up on, my cue is.
I look for the cue lines.
Okay.
And then I learn all my lines first in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And then I start breaking it down and finding the cue lines and whatnot.
Yeah, do you both have any long speeches in this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we both do.
We all,
As a matter
everybody
of fact,
Everybody
I think
has one?
everybody in this play
Everybody
does.
does.
Yeah.
Has a monologue.
Oh, wow.
I think I have 3 that are a page long or a little bit longer than a page, and I know I don't have the longest ones. So those are a little bit intimidating, but those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are fun to do.
What's it take to get the monologues down? I mean, sometimes people are really good about having the dialogue part, a line here, a line there, a couple lines, maybe a paragraph. But when you've got a page, how do you go about getting that thing down so that it's just natural?
Well, you start at the top.
Yeah.
and
You break
work
it
your way down.
into subjects.
Okay.
Like this is
You do
this.
the big
There's going
points
to be
or
3 or 4 subjects. Here's a subject, and then you just start going from one to the
See, 'cause
next.
the
Add
times-
a little bit at a time and keep
Right.
the repetition.
Yeah, the times that I've tried it, it's been like, okay, first line is, all right, get that down. Second line is, all right, tie those 2 together now.
Yeah.
Just keep going line by
And
line.
that's the way I do it.
Yeah.
That's the way I do it. And it's interesting in the words are one thing. Once you have the words, then you have to find the natural beats in the way language goes, the natural pauses. Because if you pause at the wrong point, even though you're saying the right words, you lose the feeling.
Well,
and yes, it can change it completely.
Even just like where a comma's placed.
You're right, right. So that's the second step, and then the third step, you have to add whatever the feeling is of that, and some of that for me, that takes the longest for me. And sometimes I figure out that I've been doing this wrong way late into the process. Another actor or the director or someone will be like, I want you to try it like this, and it's like, why am I trying it like this? And then it's like, I've been approaching this wrong the whole time.
Right.
Now that I get it, which sometimes you got to hit me over the head many times. Once you get it, then it's like, well, that makes sense. And had I known that ahead of time, I could have saved myself the path to get there. But
yeah. Rose, were you surprised at how well everybody was off book when you got together finally?
I think that pushed me more because I didn't want to be the only one to show up
and not know your lines.
Off book. So I knew the experience coming in there was going to be stellar. So I knew I had to up my game.
If you had 5 actors sitting in front of you and 5 microphones, I think all 5 of them would be like, I did not want to
be the only one,
be the one that was not prepared. So I think that's probably.
So how long of a time span did you have before you got together with Jesse then to get those lines down?
1st of September? No, August. Really, we've only practiced about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So, we've only had rehearsal for, just over a month, or it will be a month,
But before that, how soon did you have the book?
Oh, we had it
I had it before the 4th of July.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had ample time. You just got to have the motivate. Because the normal rehearsal process when you're in a normal show, you're probably doing it 2-3 hours a night, between 2 and 3 hours a night, 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
So that's 15 hours. So then you look at, you're looking at 60 to 75 hours of rehearsal time that we didn't have. Yeah. So.
Well,
we had to make that
applause all around for that, even before we get to the theater.
Well, don't applause till you see it.
I always do.
Like, okay, now we know.
Yeah, I always do. I'll have the inside scoop, as will everybody that's listening to this. So again, tonight it'll be in the Schulte Room, correct?
Yes.
At the Washington Pavilion.
Yep.
And the tickets still available?
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah, and so go there and see it. What time does the show start?
7 p.m., I believe.
Okay,
Yep.
so doors about 6:30?
I would think so.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this one. You know,
Yeah.
I think one of the great things that I've seen, at least my own personal view, over the past 2 decades is how this community has grown in its arts and entertainment. 20 years ago, we were in the infancy stages of the sculpture walk. We were still relatively brand new with the Washington Pavilion. And, well, yeah, we had some community theaters in the area, but, it wasn't a huge season. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's like an explosion of theater going on and places for people to be performing theater. You take a look at, some of the breweries, also, the Full Circle Book Co-op. And then, this is not the only independent theater lab, because you've also got Monstrous Little Theater out there. Good Night Theater started 8-9 years ago now and going strong. And it's just so fun to see the options that are available. You have to love that as actors too, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It gives you options. For me personally, I can't ever do shows over Christmas, for example, because of my job.
Right.
So if there's more,
What can Brown do
more
for you?
theaters and whatnot, that gives you more opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of neat that this show is going to start the theater season.
True.
It's the first show of all the theaters. There's more starting this week at Old Town and whatnot, but this is a new theater and it's starting off the new season, and I think we're gonna put people on notice a little bit and set a little bit of a standard. Nancy really picked a really nice show, and I think people are going to be blown away by it.
Definitely.
All right. So Nancy's in this show as well.
Nancy plays my wife.
Yes. Okay. And then who are the 2 kids?
My kids are Alexandra.
Andra.
Yes. I'm going to murder her last name. Thong. There's something like that. I asked her, and I was surprised how it was pronounced. And
She just
I'm
said
bad with
VT.
names. Yeah, it's a lot easier to say Alex. Everybody knows Alex. She's on stage, and she's wonderful
Yes, she
every
is.
time.
And Josh Allen.
And Josh Allen.
Josh.
Yes.
And you've acted with him before.
Yes, and I have acted with him before, and he's solid too. And the nice thing about this family show is, even though we are all there and whatever else, there's intimate moments, brother and sister, aunt and sister, so aunt and nephew, niece, nephew, there's all of that. So you get these little moments, and the connections are just really important in this one. So it's important we're all comfortable with each other, and I think we're pulling it off. I think.
Yeah.
So.
Now, how do you characterize yourselves as an actor? Do you consider yourself a character actor, a method actor?
Rose is a character. That's
definitely.
Okay, maybe I'm a character a little bit.
Well, just ask the cornflakes.
Yeah, cornflakes down the pants. See, comedies,
That's my favorite.
I feel, comedies are very natural for me, and I feel like maybe that's my strength. But to say that, I haven't got an opportunity to do dramas as much now in recent. I've been starting to do a little bit more in the last couple of years.
Dramas.
True.
And I like that. It's different muscles that you have to flex. Honestly, I just I have so much to learn. Every show I learn. I've been in a lot of shows, so I've been in 34 shows, but that by no means I know what I'm doing. When I act with somebody and this is their third show, I learn from them too. I try to take a little piece of people as we go. That's really good. Oh, I like how you do that. So I really don't know what I'm doing. I'm just having fun. I can tell you that.
Well, that's the main thing.
Yeah.
You have fun because, like Rose said, going back to the earlier part of this conversation, that hey, maybe I can do this in adult as well.
Yeah.
And you've both played in Old Town. You've played in Corson. Where else? You've both been in TPP. You were in Lombardi.
Yeah.
And
I was in, because I did the Christmas Carol.
That's right.
And then I did one, The Miracle Worker, years ago,
Mm-hmm.
when it was Sioux Empire Community Theater.
Right. And now
We've
you
done shows
add,
with Monstrous. We did shows with
Monstrous.
Monstrous
yeah.
together.
So
Yep.
So
And-
yeah, I
and
mean,
you've hit quite a few of them. Then
Speaking.
you got five of them. Then
Rose has
River
done-
Valley
Rose
down
has
in
done-
Rock
River Valley?
Rapids.
Yep. Yep.
my home.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I did a River Valley show once.
Okay.
Yeah, Lawns in 1986. But no matter where you go for community theater, it's always good.
Yeah.
And maybe we throw that around loosely, but you've both talked about it, about the professionalism that we have, at least in this area. And basically, anytime you go see a small town and their community theater, you're going to love it as well, because it's neighbors, it's friends, things along that line. And people are, and I'll still remember my friend Toby Kane told me this when I first got into improv with a troupe that he had. And before we did our first show and went out to perform, he says, okay, remember, 95% of these people do not have the guts to do what we're doing. They're going to love you. Don't worry about the other 5%. So, it's always going to be a friendly thing that takes place. But I also see, like I talked about, how it's expanded, is not just the growth of the opportunities, but also the growth of where the theaters are going in terms of what they choose for plays and musicals. You're always still going to have your traditional Oklahomas, things along that line. But Rose, what's one of the things that you never thought you'd be doing on stage as part of a community theater?
When I did Nonsense, that was way out of my comfort zone, because I'm not a singer.
she's not a nun either, by the
Thanks, Erin.
After we're finished on the conversation, I'll tell you one of my favorite stories about Nonsense and a friend of mine. All right. But Erin, what about you in terms of, the growth and so forth that you're saying? What was for you that you got into that maybe you're surprised at what you could do?
Ooh. Well, I wasn't sure I would be able to pull emotion off on stage. That is something that it's a little bit scary, because it's like, okay, you're supposed to, lose it on stage or have
Right.
emotion, cry on stage or whatever. How do you do that for real? The first experience I had with that was Charlie Cox Runs with Scissors in Corson.
Bravo, by the way.
Yeah, and that was one that I was just like, oh, how do people do that?
Yeah.
And I was nervous about that. I still can't tell you how I'm able to do that because sometimes I don't know how, but I guess the start of it would be you have to immerse yourself. You have to not be Erin on stage. You have to become Lyman, or you have to become Charlie Cox. And when you are in it enough in your mind, then those emotions become more real.
Yeah.
So then maybe your performance is a little more real. It's a scary thing, though.
And this show will touch on a lot of subjects that people are very well
Reluctant
aware
to.
of,
Yeah.
but reluctant to discuss. And so it comes more natural with
Yeah.
that.
And I see that coming down the line even more.
Yeah.
That it's going to be tougher issues and tougher situations, and there's going to be people that will love it, people that'll hate it. And in those conversations, there already are those. So, it's the example of real life coming to art, and art being real life, too. So as you look forward to the show that starts tonight, what are you most nervous about?
Well, let's hope there's emotion where there's supposed to be.
Yeah. And we have a 4-level stage. I mean, there's 4 different levels on the stage.
within the
so
show
we're just
team.
hoping we don't
Wow.
fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
We, it's not big steps, but, you add a little light, you add a little acting, all of a sudden you're walking around. We had a few stumbles, and it's like, oh, yeah, we do need glow tape and stuff here.
Yeah.
So we got it marked up. I think we're safe. We'll try not to land in anybody's laps. One thing I like is it's a very intimate setting.
Mm-hmm.
The audience, if you're in the front row, you're 4 feet away.
Wow.
It's close. So that's nice. That's nice on some levels because little subtle looks, you can just give a glance, and everybody in that place is not going to miss it. It's not like doing a show at the Orpheum where, you have to, gestures need to be bigger, or you need to project more. You can talk under your breath and go against actor training, and it's still powerful and more powerful because the audience is right there with you.
And they're understanding the need for the whisper.
Yeah. I mean, and there's stage whispers and whatever else that, you do when you do it at the Orpheum. You can do stage whispers and that all comes off. But to actually be able to just talk under your breath and everybody in the room is hearing it, or you give a sideways look to your wife and no one's going to miss that, it's pretty special. And with this show, it's important. It adds so much. So it's just those connections. Jesse did wonderful little exercises with us where he's like, hey, we just need to connect. We need to. The connection is so important.
Right.
So we had little games, and when our connection wasn't right, he's like, okay, we got to refocus and we got to redo this. And the connections, and the nights that we were off, those connections were just missing a little bit, and that took away from it. But I think we got them dialed in. Yeah. So,
Rose, do you have any particular routine that you go through prior to a show?
I usually try to get ready at home just so I have my mirror and, get my makeup done, get my hair done and whatnot. So when I get to the theater, I can just check props, and get dressed and just kind of relax a little bit before it starts. So, yeah.
Erin, what do you do?
Don't eat a big meal. I can tell you that. Man, that wrecked one of our performances or one of our rehearsals. Yeah. I'm really busy right now and go straight from get up in the morning, go to work at UPS, and most of the time with a 6:30 call, I don't have time to go home to tea. So I come to work dirty and smelly, and that's what they get to deal with. My co-actors.
And then,
but one day I was off just a little bit early, and we had a 7:00, and I'm like, you know what? I have time to go home and shower, and I'm sure my castmates will appreciate that. And I'm like, I'm going to eat, so I don't have to eat at 10:00 at night, And I ate, and oh man, it was just all I could think about on stage instead of acting choices. I was like, oh, I'm really uncomfortable. Man, I ate too much.
Trying not to pass wind.
Yes, all that stuff. And I'm just like, and then you're supposed to be acting in this serious play or whatever. And like, okay,
And what was the particular food? Was it, like Mexican or was
it? No, it was just, I had a sandwich and then I had some chips and, but I ate too much because I was just excited that I could eat. And normally we go back to normal routines. If I'm going to perform, at 7, I don't eat after 1 or 2, just to make sure, I'd rather be hungry on stage, and then afterwards when you're done, then you could eat whatever else. So I was just out of the routine because it was just rehearsal. It wasn't performance, but man, it sure showed that night. I was just like, I'm sorry, guys.
Rose, what's the most embarrassing thing that's happened to you on stage?
Oh boy.
That you weren't able to necessarily pass off as just your character?
I don't know that I've had one.
Oh,
we can work on that.
I mean, nothing out of the norm that you can't cover up, you know, like when you pick up a phone and it keeps ringing, you know, things like that. I've never had anything that we couldn't just go with it.
Yeah. That's a sign of a good actor.
Well, I mean, nothing like, you know, a door didn't fall off or, you know, anything like that. So
the mishaps that can have so much fun. Yeah.
No wardrobe malfunctions.
No.
Oh.
No. But that I've seen that happen.
Yeah, I have too. I can't think of any wardrobe malfunctions I've had either, but that would be one that you know,
a lot of them.
If any actor or actress has had a wardrobe malfunction, I guarantee you that would be part of that answer. You know, that's a big deal.
Because there's enough that you see backstage anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Coming and going. Got to get changed. Boom, boom. Yeah. Oh, that sounds like there is a waiting story.
Maybe I'll have to go there a little bit. No, we've done shows. One of the reasons I was excited that Rose was able to do the show is, you know, we're very comfortable and we've done a lot of shows together and played all sorts of different parts. But anytime you do a show with someone just once, you know, you become really close, you become really close friends. But when you do a show half a dozen times, 7 times, I mean, it's just dear friends, you know.
Well, that's
something like now she's stuck with me, you know.
Exactly. I know that quite often people will bring up the fact that the theater is a family, and you know it's a family each cast, but then each cast you're in, you know, you keep growing that family.
Yeah. And it's all, you know, as many theaters as there are in Sioux Falls and the surrounding area, there are little, you know, pods of families, but really it's
all
family.
one.
You know, it really is. It's as big as it is, it's pretty small. You know, it's
true.
It's pretty small and pretty intimate, and that's a lot of the draw. I think, you know, you have a lot of people that you can count on, and a lot of people that are there for you and love you. So it extends off stage as well. So
Rose, a first-time guest always gets 2 questions at the end. How you answer question number 1 might determine whether the second one needs to be answered. But the first one is, when you're not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
My grandkids. Camping. Hiking.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah, see, because that answers question number 2. Any other hobbies?
Yeah, camping and hiking. Yeah, that's
right.
That's what I do a lot of.
Erin, you've been on and answered those questions before. So the new one is now, what is Erin Shrap's word for this year?
Ooh. Well, what comes to mind is a break. I've done a lot, you know. It just in this, I've been averaging 1 to 3 shows a year. And when you do 3 shows a year, it can get to be a lot. And you absolutely need a break to recharge. There's a lot of times you think, oh, I want to do that show too. And you end up doing yourself a disservice if you just keep going, because you don't realize you're losing an edge a little bit. You have to kind of be hungry a little bit, and you need that rest. Well, I wasn't planning on doing this show in this time slot. I was thinking, you know, and then the last show, I wasn't really planning on doing that one. My wife was, but she couldn't because of surgery. She got a tumor, you know, and so she kind of pushed me to do that show. And luckily I was able to get into that because that was a wonderful experience as well. And then this one, you know, Nancy had approached me about it a year and a half ago or whatever. And then it was just like, well, hey, it all fell into place for her. And she's like, are you doing anything this fall? You know, no, you know, so that one fell in. And then it's like, after this, I mean, my break is Christmas, you know, and that's one that always comes. But this one is a little bit more, it's not like, if this was a comedy, it would be one thing. But when you're doing a serious drama that you have to put so much of yourself in, it makes you tired. At the end of the night, if you did it right, you feel it, you know.
You're exhausted.
Yeah. And so then when, you know, the final process of this, you know, coming into the Hell Week and now opening the show, you know, we do it 10 nights in a row, and then you're doing it with acting values. It's a lot, you know, and so it's just like, I love it. And but after this, like a week of rest would be wonderful. So yeah, my word is I'm ready for a break.
All right, good for you.
Break.
Yeah. Hey, both of you, thank you so much. What a pleasure to have you both on. Erin as a second-time guest. Rose, your first time here, and looking forward to seeing other desert cities from Theater Lab in the Schulte Room at the Washington Pavilion. Starts tonight, 7 o'clock. Doors will open probably about 6:30.
And tickets are available through their Facebook, Theater Lab Facebook website. Has a link that you can still get tickets for the remaining shows. So.
Fantastic. Appreciate it. Thank you both. And we'll be back to have more arts and entertainment discussions in just a moment on the Dave Holly Hour.
Comedy magician and hypnotist Jesse Moffat's right. He can't play the piano, but he can sure entertain crowds with his amazing magic and clever quips. His shows always make the participants the stars, especially when they've fallen asleep on stage. They've been hypnotized. Are you the party planner in your group? Then you owe it to your group to make the event magical, even if it puts you to sleep. Here's how.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffitt Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or xochiros.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Funny, engaging, connected. He's the entertainment reporter for Sioux Falls. Here's Dave Holly.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. You know, I always like to say, always a pleasure to talk about Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. And one of the things that I love about what we have in this community, this arts community, has such great variety. Well, I happen to be one of the producers of a variety show. 4 times a year, we have what we call the Vaudies. Yes, we took the word from the original word vaudeville, and our tagline is modern-day vaudeville. So that's what the Vaudies is. There's going to be some great entertainment tonight, and this is a show that is tonight only. So each time, we may do 4 shows a year, but we only do 1 presentation of each. Tonight, it will be outside at Remedy downtown. Our past 2 shows have been at Remedy at 611, but we had to move it this time. We're going to be downtown at Remedy Brewing Company, 8th and Railroad Center. The weather is predicted to be warm, a little breezy, but not scorchingly hot, nor when you put on an outdoor festival or festivity, you often kind of go, ooh, please don't rain. Supposedly, we don't have that in the forecast. But what is in the forecast is variety and fun and frivolity. Valerie Aarons, this will be her second appearance at a Vaudies show. Her first one got her nominated for a variety act at the Sioux Falls Stage Awards. She's a wonderful singer, belts it out. She is the former lead singer of a group in town called Rewinder. So she's got a lot of persona on stage, and she's got the great voice to back it up. Then there's Viola Velvet. Normally dances burlesque, but it will be a little bit more, shall we say, PG-13 rated performance. Except it's not a performance. It's 3 performances. She's going to be doing 3 different sets. And then a first-timer, Sarah Manson. She was so looking forward to being in the Vaudies. And when you have enthusiasm like that, first of all, Sarah's been taking the comedy world in the Sioux Empire by storm. performing at least once a week, if not several times a week. And we're fortunate enough that we have her tonight. And in fact, I even heard that she has her own walk-on music. And it gets her jazzed. So looking forward to that. I have seen her perform a couple of times. And another guy that I've seen perform a lot, Matt D. Matt and I have been friends going on, probably 15 plus years now. And we have some common ties. He's originally from Sioux City. I know a lot about Sioux City. My mother grew up there. And so we talk about landmarks, things like that, but he loves being here in Sioux Falls, and he proves it. You know, that bad man Americana type ballad stuff. The Hemingway of the Highway is what he is referred to. The man is a singer, songwriter, and a very unique blend of what he does. So looking forward to that as well. Then we have Michael Sorensen. He is our music director. He is from a few different groups. He is from 6 Feet Over, which, by the way, is going to be playing Saturday night at, Woodgrain downtown. And he's phenomenal there. He also has a group that he put together that is called Nobody You'd Know. So then, if you were at a place where he was performing and you were talking about the group the next day, they'd say, well, who was it? Nobody would know. Love that. But then he's also, first of all, he's a great pianist, plays the keys like crazy. And another one of his groups would happen to be Dual Purpose, which is a dueling pianos show, and it's fun every time. Okay. Then there is my co-host and co-producer, Emily Wilson. She will be performing not just tonight alongside me as a co-host, but she's also part of Improv Falls, which is performing tomorrow night, Friday night, excuse me. And by the way, that Michael Sorensen that I talked about, that's not Saturday night. That's a Friday night deal as well, Road Grain. But Emily and all those great people from Improv Falls, they'll be making stuff up for about an hour and a half on Friday night, and that will be at the Icon Lounge. Now, just a couple of things to remember. Remedy Brewing Company downtown is the location for tonight's show. It is available, advance tickets online, but only until noon today at thevaudies.com, and that's TheVaudies.com, thevaudies.com, to get the advance ticket for $15. Yes, there is a little fee on there, but it's still less than what you would pay at the door, because at the door, it's $20. Okay? So if you get the chance, you're listening early, go there, get those advanced tickets. But then we also want to remind you that Remedy Brewing Company downtown, besides the great beers, also has some pretty ding-dang good food. Ooh, and there's that little pork thing going on, Pork Showdown, during the month of September in downtown Sioux Falls. I'm just going to guess that they might have something, because they've done really well in some of those contests down there. So you've got that. Plus, it is just fun being outside on that deck, on their back. So please go through the front and make your way through the establishment to the back door, and you will find the Vaudies. By the way, if you'd like to have some merch, we got you covered. Actually, Yours on the Spot Printing has you covered. They will be with us once again, providing Vaudies T-shirts, hoodies, and some other great apparel that you can get and have it printed right there during the show. The last time, before the show started, I said, hey, give me one of these and put this particular logo on it for me. And sure enough, about halfway through the program, I had that and could display it while I was on stage. But there's even one more really, really cool thing that we are going to be showing off at tonight's show, and that is the new mascot. I'm not going to say anything beyond that, but we will be unveiling our mascot at tonight's The Vaudies Show, Falling for the Vaudies. Showtime is 7:30, but basically we're not going to say doors open at, because, yeah, they're going to be open already. Go in there, have your supper if you'd like, and then come out. But whatever way, don't miss out on the Vaudies, Falling for the Vaudies. See, because we're headed toward fall, right? Even though it's going to be summer-like temps today. So make sure that you come down and join us for fun, frivolity, and surprises. Oh, and a giveaway. Maybe even more. All right. So join us at the Vaudies at Remedy Downtown. Showtime, 7:30. And I'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Check out the new ceramic studio in Sioux Falls. Conveniently located off Kiwanis Avenue on 5th Street. TJS Ceramics. Inside Oscar's Mini Storage. We have thousands of classic vintage ceramic mold items and several new items too. TJS Ceramics offers classes, special open studio nights, and completed ready-to-purchase items. Bisque, studio time, or painting parties are available. Visit TJS Ceramics Studio in person today or email tjsceramics@gmail.com for more details.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
For him, every day is a Holly day. Here again, Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my great guests, Erin Shrap and Rose Rhead. And thank you. All the downloads, likes, shares, each make a difference. I appreciate your desire to learn more about Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment. By the way, never miss an episode. All 246, they are online at davehollyhour.com. That's right, 246, 4 more weeks. It's a milestone. You can help me reach some milestones as well by downloading the podcast, because I'm on my way to 20,000 downloads. And I will share that with all of you once it happens. In the meantime, when we do episode number 250, it's going to be a special guest host. So look forward to that. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Arts South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, I'm Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by TJS Ceramic Studio, Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Jesse Moffitt Entertainment, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, simply buy Dave a cup of coffee. Go to davehollyhour.com and click on the coffee cup icon. Don't forget to stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.